So next to me, to my left, is Joost de Kluijver. He is the director and CEO and founder of Closing the Loop, which is an organization that has built a business model that fuels proper, safe, and corruption-free electronic waste management in emerging markets. So we look forward to your presentation.
And my slides as well. So thanks so much for the organizers, and thanks all for staying awake. A presentation about circularity and the combination with Telecom. I think quite relevant for this audience. Circularity is something that we all hold very dear, but I would say the telecom industry, at least for most of us, is something that we're quite connected to as well. So if we can combine those two, that's something to be quite happy about. Let me share a little bit about that industry. So I've been connected to Telecom for almost 20 years now, and again, quite proud to be so. I think all of us have seen how much wealth, economic development, social improvement mobile phones have brought across the globe, especially also in emerging markets. I see many of you now using your phones, so clearly you're also quite fan of those gadgets. And that is something to be, quite proud of what this industry has brought. But we're also seeing another side of the industry, which has been mentioned already by other speakers. Electronic waste actually causing currently, as it's the fastest growing waste stream in the world, a lot of social problems, environmental issues. So that's a bit of a strange situation, if you will. We have such a technological advancement which our industry is about, and then at the same time we have a quite ridiculous problem around waste and pollution. So we feel that actually the telecom industry and also market forces can create a solution, because there is a huge need, as also other speakers have already mentioned, a huge need for green procurement. Buyers, users of phones want their procurement to become more sustainable. So that's simply a market need. At the same time, there's a great opportunity to deliver on that need. Because if you collect electronic waste in emerging markets, that waste can be recycled, it can be turned into metals, and as a result, a sustainable opportunity can be created. So what we've come up with as a concept is that we combine actually those two situations. On the one hand, an enormous demand for green procurement, and at the same time, a clear opportunity for more recycling in the emerging world. So these are just some numbers to back up my story that I'm not just making this up. Buyers are clearly asking for these concepts. I would say almost around 90 or maybe almost up to 100% of buyers mention that sustainability is in their top priorities. Many labels also reinforce this story. So this is not something that's new or that's innovative. It's something that's had been here already for quite a few years. But the telecom industry is struggling to deliver on that need. We like our gadgets to be thin and cool and innovative. So if you then look at sustainability, that is currently something that is quite difficult to combine with all of those advancements. So that is an issue for our industry, if you will. I feel that the telecom industry can only solve this by doing what it can do very well. The telecom industry is really good at telling stories and creating a better reality. And that is what we're seeing now in a lot of African countries happening. And a project that I've been involved in now for 7 years. We collect electronic waste, phones that are completely broken, in countries that cannot recycle this waste themselves. And that can be turned into a new reality. It can be turned into a great story. And of course, in our industry, we love to share and talk about great stories. So we refer to this concept as one for one. It's quite straightforward, also something that the telecom industry likes. When you buy a new phone, you collect one scrap phone to offset your purchase. So we call it one for one. when a customer buys a new phone here in Europe, we collect one scrap phone in an African country, and that allows the procurement to become material neutral. It offsets the new phone. So to add a little bit with some pictures here, this is actually a new number for me, but it turns out that every 19 months we replace our phones here in the EU. So that requires new metals, and you could state that's a negative thing because it leads to more material scarcity. But again, if you combine that with scrap collection, it means that if you collect and recycle African waste, which normally wouldn't be recycled and turned into metals, those two can actually compensate each other. So new phones are bought, but all phones are recycled and then turned into metals again. So this is something that we're doing now for quite a number of years. We've collected over 2.5 million phones in 5 countries, working with local partners, allowing them to create jobs, create income, turn electronic waste from a problem into an opportunity, because we pay for the waste, because it is valuable. And then make sure, of course, that it's properly recycled by the facilities that are currently, unfortunately, lacking in Africa. So we have to ship it from African countries to Europe. But when we do so, we turn this waste, which is a bit of a strange term to use, but we turn the waste into gold, silver, and other precious metals. So I think that's really what we can do as an industry now. Circularity can be quite abstract. It can be quite long-term. It can be quite, a big project to take on. But if you want to do something now, I think we need something that's achievable, that's tangible, that's appealing, and that's a great story. And I hope to talk to you more about it later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joost. I think that was definitely a great story, and it's definitely one tangible way of actually, to use this term, the closing the loop in terms of a circular economy, and we're very glad to have heard your presentation.